All right, everyone, good afternoon. This is Belle Bergner, Executive Director of the North American Invasive Species Management Association and the National Campaign Manager of PlayCleanGo. Let me just do a quick test here. If you can hear me, could you type in your chat box or the question box that you can hear me? I had a little technical difficulty just now, so I want to make sure everyone can hear us. Okay, good. You can hear me. Yay. All right. Welcome. So for folks who just popped on, I had asked folks who had signed on earlier if you could post in the question or chat box where you are coming from, which region and forest. I'd love to know. So we're so happy to be able to be with you today. We're really excited about the partnership with the U.S. Forest Service. And so again, so today, actually, I'm going to, before I forget, I'm going to hit record. Where do we go here? There we go. All right. So welcome again to the PlayCleanGo Stop Invasive Species in Your Tracks webinar. I am going to get started, and I'm so glad that everyone is here today. We're really excited about working with Forest Service regions. So I am going to get started. If I can get my computer to work here. Hold on. So let's see, why am I not able, here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to provide an overview. What is PlayCleanGo? What is the problem the campaign addresses? Talk about its foundations in social research and community-based social marketing. I'm going to talk about why it has become the best invasive species prevention outreach campaign for North America. We'll dive into how the campaign works, talk about the resources available for partners, how they are customizable, and talk about who is involved and the opportunities for collaboration, not just within Forest Service, but with your local PlayCleanGo partners outside your region and around your forest. And then talk about how you can become a partner and get access to all of those resources. So what is the problem? You're all here today because of these, you know, pick your flavor. You're all probably dealing with one or more of the species shown here today, whether it's Japanese stiltgrass, emerald ash borer, spotted lanternfly, garlic mustard. We've got, I think that's starry stonewort or zebra mussels. It's a growing problem. It's something that it's challenging, and we've got a solution to talk about today. But really, one of the big problems the problem that we're really dealing with, the one I'm going to talk about today, is this. All these innocent-looking recreationists, kids, adults, pets, horses, enjoying the outdoors, little do they know that they are the problem as well, or they're part of the problem. And we know that by recreationists moving on trails or on water, bringing their pets along trails or paths and horses, we're picking up seeds or parts of plants or other pests and transporting them and causing this problem of invasive species spreading. So the other part of the problem is this. Now this doesn't have to do with invasive species, but what this is showing is the fact that people are going to be lazy if we don't provide easy access to the tools that we want people to use. They're not going to do what we want them to do. So what we try to do is come up with a solution that provides those tools. But in order to get people to do the behavior we want them to, we need to connect with what they believe. What is the problem? What do they like to do? What do they don't like to do? What are their barriers? the barriers to them doing the behavior we want them to do, and what do they value. And we've got to provide the right tools. And part of those tools is a clear, consistent brand and message. So the behavior I showed in the previous slide was someone littering or not recycling. And we know because of this successful brand or logo that has been developed with recycling, we know we can change behavior. And we know that part of changing behavior is not just using that logo, but making it easy and putting the tools that we want people to use exactly where they're going to need them. So right next to, in the case of recycling, we need recycling bins to be right next to trash cans. Because people are lazy, if that recycling can is not right next to the trash can, they are much less likely to actually to use it. Even if it's 10, 15, 20 steps away, we know from research and behavioral research and social research, we're just going to have a much greater success placing those tools right where folks are going to use them. So with invasive species, these are our tools, or some of them, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into these in a bit, but these are the tools I'm going to talk about today, which are trail signs, boot brush stations, and signage strategically placed where we want them to use, where we want recreationists to use the tools to clean their gear. We also need to remind people, not just on the trailhead, but through other outreach tools. So billboards, social media, websites, flyers, newsletters, all of the above. We've got to provide repeated messaging through multiple communication channels to get that behavior change. And so some of the tools that I'm going to talk about in a bit are the social marketing tools that we have through PlayCleanGo, the outreach, the kiosks, and other communication. Here's a brand that I'm sure you all are very familiar with. So you know, when you look at this, this image and this message, you know exactly what it's designed to do. Through very strategic brand identity, brand guidelines, Smokey the Bear has become the message, the icon for preventing forest fires. I'm sure many of you are also aware of the Don't Move Firewood campaign. It has become the message for communicating to recreationists, don't move firewood. And I'll talk about how we're actually partnering with Don't Move Firewood in a little bit. But just another example of a clear brand, clearly showing recreationists what we want them to do through a consistent message. So the invasive species solution that I'll talk about today is PlayCleanGo. Stop invasive species in your tracks. So let's talk about how the campaign evolved. Real briefly, I'm not going to go into too much of the nitty-gritty details, but just so you know, we had significant funding from the Forest Service in 2008 through a landscape scale restoration grant given to Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, which it was the Minnesota DNR that actually was the agency that got the funding and did the initial research to determine what was going to be the best strategy, the best message, and figured out how to align with recreationist behaviors and the barriers to those behaviors to create the successful message. In 2012, the campaign formally launched. The brand was released, and in 2014, NASMA, the North American Invasive Species Management Association, adopted PlayCleanGo. Formally in 2016, a MOU was established between Minnesota DNR and NASMA to gradually take over. Last year in 2018, we formed an agreement with Forest Service to adopt not only PlayCleanGo, but all of NASMA's programs. In fact, today I'm just going to talk about PlayCleanGo. And then in 2019, here we are today, we have over 560 partner organizations across North America, and we are at the final stage of taking over that campaign from Minnesota DNR. So that's real brief. That's just a quick history of how we got to where we are today. And now I'll go into how the strategy came to be. So we know based on social research, and I'll talk a little bit about the community-based social marketing that forms the sort of foundation of the campaign, that what we really need to do is we don't really need to teach recreationists how to identify plants, although it's great if they can. The key to stopping the spread of invasive species through the recreational pathway is to change the behavior. So in order to do that, we have to figure out what are recreationists' beliefs, what do they know, and what do they value. And so the campaign strategy connects with those values of recreation and having fun. And then to change behavior, like I showed with the recycling example, we've got to provide the necessary tools. So we've got to have the boot brush stations, or hand give out the boot brushes, or provide other tools to actually clean gear at critical junctions like trailheads, boat landings, and other entries to recreational areas. And we've got to make that accessible. So what I'll talk about in a bit is how the graphics are very clear, they're easy to read, and very accessible to the general public. The second main strategy is to engage partner organizations at all scales of organization, of government, of nonprofit, local government entities, local nonprofits, all the way up to states and regional groups, and you all today, representing a major federal land agency, are critical. The only way to get this message out in a successful way is to have the brand at all of these different scales. So trailheads have to have, ultimately, our vision is that they have this PlayCleanGo brand at the trailheads and boat landings and everywhere where we can remind recreationists about what they need to do. So what we provide to partners are those turnkey education and outreach materials, and I'll talk about those in a minute. I'll talk about how the message is flexible and positive. So it's flexible to your local outreach and communication opportunities and needs for specific messaging. And the process for becoming a partner and getting access to those resources is very straightforward. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to get access, just plug and play with whichever graphic outreach tools you would like to use. And so working together, we hope to engage you all today to amplify our reach, exposure, and get those desired outcomes of getting those recreationists to clean their boots and other gear before they enter the trail and before they leave, so that they're stopping the spread of invasive species. All right, why does it work? The brand is very clear. It has very clear action steps: play, then clean your gear, and then go. It has flexible modular formatting, and I'll talk about what that means in a minute. Basically, we're going to talk about how we have a lot of templates of rack cards and brochures and posters and trail signs and kiosks that allow you to swap in your local species of concern and local messaging and your own logo. The designs that were chosen for these templates are very clean and simple. They're easy to be consistent across different geographic landscapes. The color palette is fun. The wording is playful, which connects to the recreationist. So this is key. So one of the things that the initial research found was that messaging that was negative was less likely to get people to engage with the campaign and do the desired behaviors. So rather than a message saying warning or stop, the message is play and then clean and go. I'll show you how we have aquatic and terrestrial applications. So you can use this for land and water recreation access points. We have a very clear co-branding guide, so you can plop in your logo and other partner organizations you're working with. And again, I'll show a little bit of the large graphic library that's accessible to you as a partner. So again, here's one of the key sort of cornerstones of the campaign. It is a positive message. This quote here by Per Espen Stoknes, who is an economist from Sweden, he gave a really powerful TED Talk. If you search for his TED Talk, I thought it was a very powerful message about why positive messages are critical in getting people to feel empowered and do the things that we want them to do to care for the earth. So a lot of the messages that you see here, these strategic messages, are fun and empower recreationists to do the things that we want to do. So I love some of these, like blow the whistle on Canada Thistle, don't move a muscle. You know, they're super fun and playful and easy to plug and play in whatever your outreach opportunity is. Again, so these just give some examples of the messaging, but you're not limited to these. If you have a little tweak you want to add to these, absolutely you can customize and modify within the brand guidelines. So we make it easy, and we ask you to help us make it easy. So here's an example of a boot brush kiosk with one of our signs that a partner customized. You can see they've got partner logos down there on the bottom of the kiosk with the brand very clearly placed. And there you can see on the bottom right, you can see the kids having fun with these handheld boot brushes that we have available to sell. If that's something of interest, you can purchase those and give away at your outreach centers or other opportunities. Fun. So I'll talk a little more about this in a minute, but we're growing our social media presence and really working on reaching those recreationists who we know are on their cell phones, even in the woods, on the trails, in their boats. We know people have got their cell phones with them, and so we're reaching out to them that way. And also here you see on the bottom right, there's a coaster. That's a template that you are welcome to customize with your message as well. Easily accessible. This is one of my favorite images. Just very clear photos, very clear images of what we're trying to convey to recreationists to do. Very simple platform. So on our website, you'll see there are resources and opportunities to learn more, to take action. We're going to be growing the resources that are available that you can draw people to our website if you so choose. Again, the idea is our website is very clear, easy to use, and a simple platform to get the message across. I touched on this already a little bit, but just another page of our brand guidelines for you to see. Very clearly outlines which colors to use and the space to allow around each of the logos, which kind of fonts to use and things like that. I touched on some of the materials we have. We have a lot of outreach, we have several outreach products that you're welcome to purchase. These boot brushes are by far the most popular that we sell, and they come in those 3 colors that match the colors of our logo. They're super popular because it is the tool that we're trying to get people to use. And it's not just usable for boots. That's a hoof pick that is designed for horses. So it works there. It also works on bike tires, strollers. We've got more and more families with little kids pushing their jogging strollers on the trails. So it works there as well. On the left there, that's a Leave No Trace ethics card. Whoops. You all are probably familiar with Leave No Trace. I know they have a partnership with Forest Service, and they have a lot of these ethics cards that provide very clear guidance and tips on what to do. This one is targeted. This is specific to invasive species. So this is a tool that you can purchase and give away. You can have at your outreach centers. and hand out as there's this image actually only shows the front. There's actually there's a backside that provides even more tips for recreationists on how to clean their gear. And the bottom images there are temporary tattoos. Those are also a growing popular item that we sell for partners. Kids love them, great for outreach. And then on the bottom, the right side there is our Tucker the Turtle Field Guide that was developed by the Potomac Highlands Cooperative Weed and Pest Management Area. We sell that as well. That has a lot of, maybe not all the species particular for your area, but it's a fun guide for kids. More resources. So again, the kiosk, this is also one of our more popular items. This is basically what we have. When you become a partner, you get access to a whole graphic library. And what it is are these digital images of things like this boot brush kiosk. That it's a PDF. And most, if not all of you, have Adobe Pro. You can swap in photos. You can edit. You can edit your logos. Here at the bottom, you can see this particular one was co-branded with the Genesee Land Trust and another organization there. So you can add, your local messaging, your local plants, specific for your region. Here's some more examples of things like posters or rack cards, banners with the brand messaging. And again, these are PDFs that are available on the graphic library. You can grab these and edit them as you wish, keeping within the brand guidelines. Our staff are here to work with you if you have questions as you start to take these and modify them for your needs. We have a graphic designer who can work with you. I'm sure you all have graphic designers on staff as well, but we encourage you to work with us and just to provide any assistance that you need. Here's an example of some of you may be already using those with the targeted messaging to prevent the spread of invasive forest pests. Again, just to reiterate that this really applies, the PlayCleanGo brand applies to all outdoor activities, hiking, canoeing, ATVs, OHVs, firewood movement, horseback riding, bike riding, and workers. So you see that the mower there, we have a growing number of partners who are adapting materials for the worker, field workers, timber harvesters, that crew to remind them to clean their gear and equipment before going to their next destination. Hunters, absolutely a growing number of folks are getting out there and hunting and using ATVs, and this is actually hunters are one of these groups of recreationists that really do care. They want to do the right thing, and have been increasingly growing in our partner organization database. Again, just another example of how we can use this for aquatic messaging, campers and boaters, bikers. I love the message, leave trouble behind. Again, field staff. We have one of our partners developed a sticker that they've placed, there you see on the bottom, a sticker they placed on various pieces of worker equipment to remind those folks to clean before going on. Again, another piece that was done by the Three Rivers Parks District. Sorry, this image is a little blurry. Here's an image from Montana Noxious Weed Education Campaign. They were able to plop in this beautiful image of backcountry horseback rider and the beautiful image of the mountains in the background. So the idea is that this is the image that you're going to want if you're in the West. But if you are in the Eastern Forest, this message is not going to resonate. They're going to look at this high peak and go, oh, that doesn't really look like, where I like to go horseback riding. But this is a piece that is in the graphic library. You can take it, put in your, find an image that you like that is more aligned with what your region looks like, and plug and play. Here's another example of leveraging with an existing brand, a co-branded piece with Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers. We are working more and more with the aquatic messaging, and we're going to be working more closely with the Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers campaign to get more of these co-branded images. One thing to note is we know now from recent research being done on behavior research and social research that we actually have a greater likelihood of getting this behavior of cleaning gear and stopping the spread of invasive species with co-branded images. So before this research, we were a little concerned that by adding more brands, we might be diluting the message and confusing recreationists. But what we actually see, thanks to research done in particular by Ken Donnelly up in Canada, a big pan-Canadian survey just recently he did last year, showed that what happens when you use multiple brands like Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers or Don't Move Firewood is folks who have seen one of those brands, but perhaps not the other, they know what that message is from the brand that they know. And then by adding the brand, for example, PlayCleanGo, if you're adding that to the message that they already know, say, Don't Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers, they're going to be more likely to align the message with their behavior and actually do it, not just when they see it, but also the next time they go out and recreate. So that was really interesting when I saw that research results this last fall at our annual conference. And so we're just more and more open and encouraging our partners to co-brand with their local message. And you can choose to not use the message. But if you don't want to use the Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers, but you like that clean, drain, dry tagline, absolutely, you can plug and play, put that in there as your brand message, and go for it. Here are some website banners that our partners have put together, one from Wyoming there on the top and Minnesota on the bottom. So again, we have, regionally sort of sensitive or regionally appropriate signage and graphics. The campaign is inherently designed to be collaborative. So, you all as Forest Service staff, we're going to encourage you to not just work within your own forest and within your own, across your regions, but we're going to show you how you can connect to your local PlayCleanGo partners and work together. Forest Service is particularly great at partnering with, through the state and private forestry program and other public-private partnerships. You guys are great at working across borders, so I know you get that. Just to give you a sense of some of the partners you might be reaching out to and finding in your local area, we really do have a diverse representation of different kinds of organizations. This chart is a little bit outdated, but the relative types of groups is pretty much still accurate. So we've got everyone from tribal organizations, state and provincial governments, recreation nonprofits, lots of local governments, so cooperative weed management associations, PRISMs, SISMAs, education organizations, and everything in between. And also a growing number of individuals who are finding the campaign, liking what we're doing, and choosing to support. We are growing. We have partnerships with the Canadian Council on Invasive Species. The Mexican Conavio is sort of the equivalent of sort of the USDA-Forest Service combined. So we have partnerships all across North America and are growing. So here's a snapshot of the partner map on the PlayCleanGo website. You can go there and through these circles that you see on the map, you can zoom in and see the over 560 partner organizations. When you zoom in, you see those dots expand, and you can drill in and click on those specific pins to find exactly who's in your area. So here's an example. Here on this pin is the Catskill Regional Invasive Species Partnership, in New York. And so, yeah, like I said, so I would just encourage you when we get off the webinar today, start to look around the map and find out who your local PlayCleanGo partners are. And maybe there's a way for you to share resources and share messages and connect. So our social reach is pretty good. We're big and we're growing. We have over 11,000 followers on Facebook. I believe somewhere over 500 on Twitter and a growing number on Instagram. We have a campaign right now to grow our reach in the Eastern U.S. in particular, and we just got renewed funding from the USDA-Aphis Plant Protection Act program to continue our Eastern U.S. expansion and national expansion. Our current project, we had a goal to get at least 500,000 touches in our targeted U.S. Eastern U.S. states. And within a few months, we reached over that, or almost over that amount. So we're pretty close with only a few months into the actual implementation of that strategy. We expect with our next round of outreach and marketing, partnering with Don't Move Firewood, Hungry Pests, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. We're aiming to reach at least 3 million individuals through social media and other outreach. Here is a specific tool that we are encouraging, and it's helping us to grow the commitment of the recreationists that we're touching. We created an online pledge that you can, and that you can direct your recreationists to sign and commit to doing the pledge. This is one of the behavior change strategies that we know really cements and increases the likelihood of recreationists cleaning their gear, is when you actually sign something, you're going to commit, and you're going to be more likely to actually do it in the future. Additional growing resources, we have videos that we're just starting to launch that show the behavior that we want folks to do. We're launching those on Facebook and YouTube. We're creating more digital graphic materials to add to the library. Those will always be customizable for your region's local messaging, especially for local invasive plants, animals, insects, etc., to educate your local folks about what they need to be aware of. That shareable social media content, so the media work we're doing now, the aim is to have that really easy to share by our partners. So we know that social media is just growing by leaps and bounds, and it's really the way to connect and reach people. And one of the things we're doing is creating content that's easy for our partners, including you all, to take and share. And you can tweak the message if you like, but we know that that's something that's a value, and we've been asked by our partners to help create more of. PlayCleanGo Awareness Week is something that we're focusing on now. This is part of our renewed funding through our USDA-Aphis grant. And so what we're going to do is focus some outreach efforts, co-branded with Don't Move Firewood and Hungry Pests, to focus awareness on PlayCleanGo and stopping the spread of invasive plants during this week. We chose this week because June 1st is, I believe it's National Trails Day. I might get these backwards, but one of the Saturdays is National Trails Day, and the other Saturday is National Get Outdoors Day. So we're sandwiching around those two really big pushes to get folks outdoors and drill in the message that when you go outdoors, don't forget to clean your gear and stop the spread. Webinars, we've launched a webinar series for partners this year. In fact, next week, we've got Chris Evans from the University of Illinois talking about a research study that they did showing the actual impact of boot brush stations, that talking about how effective they really are at cleaning gear and stopping the spread of invasive plants. So here's where I'm going to give a call to action. So what we need is for you all to go to our website and choose which level of partner organization you would like to be to get these turnkey outreach materials and become a partner. I will say, actually, at this very moment, the website is going through a little update, and so actually, don't jump right off this webinar and do this, but I would say by tomorrow, we should have the links all squared away. So you can get there and see all the benefits. But I'll go through today some more of the benefits that you get as joining. And so here's the web page, the join web page, where you choose which type of partner organization you are. Most of our organizations are partner organizations, and there's a tiered variety of benefits that you get at the different levels. You get a lot even with the supporter level, that $10 level. But most folks are choosing the $150 level or above, most partner organizations, because of the benefits of getting the discounts on pre-printed materials like those boot brushes, temporary tattoos, things like that, and other things. So I'll let you all go to the website and take some time to look around and see what makes sense for your region. And so after learning more about what we have to offer, I really do hope you'll join us. I know you all know the importance of stopping invasive species, and your forests are beautiful. We want to protect them. The critical thing we realize we need to do now is prevent invasive species from getting into beautiful natural areas where they aren't already. So I'd like to ask for your help. If you have not already joined, please choose your level. Help us get the brand at your trailheads, boat landings, campgrounds, etc. And together we will leverage and amplify our reach and impact and reach every single recreationist out there with this message. I really think that this PlayCleanGo brand can be the recycling symbol for recreationists and stopping invasive species. It's grown so fast, the popularity and the number of partners joining has grown just exponentially. And so we really know that we're going to have the most impact if we can get that brand, in all of these places that we know people are traveling. And we know recreationists aren't just staying in one place. They're going from their local park, and they're traveling over the summer to their local national forest and their national park, and they're going overseas. And so if we can have this consistent message at all of the places where folks are traveling to, we're going to have real impact. Just a little bit about who our past and current, some of our big contributors have been, of course, Forest Service with the big funding that we got initially in the campaign, and of course through our MOU that allows for the regions to adopt the campaign. We're tremendously grateful for Forest Service's support. And here's some other of our federal and state and local and corporate partners. So I'm going to wrap up and then open up for questions. And I'm going to leave my contact information up here while we go through some questions. I definitely encourage you to reach out to myself or our communications and program manager, Hannah Bowers. Let us know what we can do to help get you set up as a partner and what questions you have. We're really excited to work with all of you in all the different regions. So let me just see if there's anything. Actually, I'll just leave my contact information up there while I go to the questions and see what questions I can address now. So let me just see who is here. So we've got folks from the Mount Baker, Region 4, Region 6, Region 9, Michigan, Humboldt, in Region 4, Monongahela. Hey, Amy. Dawn Meyer in the Eastern. Wow, great. Region 8, Cherokee National Forest. All right, fantastic. Oh, we're so glad you guys are here with us today. So let me find Green Mountain and Finger Lakes. Yay. Very special place in my heart, Region 9. Okay, so I'm going to go through the questions. I think some of them I've answered, but how does an individual forest become a partner since you're actually not a contributor to the program? In order to give you access to the graphic library, we need you to choose one of those levels. And again, it can be any level that makes sense for you. But we need your your contact information, and so we just need you to sign up at whatever level makes sense for your region. Let's see. Are there any other questions? Let's see. Any other questions I can answer before we wrap up? So another question was, do individual forests need to be partners, or is there already a partnership agreement in place? So the MOU, I mean, just to clarify, the MOU that we have with the Forest Service authorizes the regions to become partners. It doesn't get you to that next step of, like I said, getting access to the graphic library and other resources, and like the webinars and things like that. So I hope that answers that question. Any other questions about the graphic design opportunities, other resources? I just want to mention again that we are growing all of the graphic assets. We're going to be updating a lot of those materials I showed today with more images of the behavior that we want to show, the cleaning of various kinds of gear. Like I said, we've just started to launch some videos that we've created that demonstrate why recreationists should care and what they can do. And so we have the 3 main series of videos that we are going to be launching gradually over the next couple of months that include pro tips and that why should I care and what can I do. And all of those videos also have imagery of specific species that are targeted to specific states. In the case of the series that we're about to launch, they are targeted for eastern U.S. states. But again, with the renewed funding that we just got, we'll be doing, we'll basically be customizing those videos and creating new ones targeted to different regions of the U.S. So we'll try to hit, all of the Western regions. We try to identify, with the current series of videos, we try to identify sort of the top invasive species that would kind of be most recognizable to recreationists. Of course, it's really hard to pick that top invasive species. So it's just a way to sort of raise awareness of what invasive species look like and encourage people to help. One of the partners we do promote and encourage folks to partner with is EdNap, that is out of the University of Georgia Center for Ecosystem Health and Invasive Species. That is one of the tools we encourage folks to use to report invasive species. I know probably many of you are aware of the Wild Spotter program that was just launched, which uses the EdNap system. But so just another example of partners that we're building. Let's see. Am I aware of funding sources for forests to get grants to become a partner? No, I don't. I can't say that I'm aware of funding sources. I guess I would hope that those sort of introductory level partnerships are not so costly that you might have a budget for outreach that you could tap into for that. I think that one of the key messages that perhaps I didn't already say is, tens of thousands of dollars of significant research and development have gone into this campaign. And so if you can articulate that to the people who you would have to ask for funding and say, we'd like to sign up for this campaign, that basically for a fraction of the cost that we would need to invest to develop these materials, we're getting this turnkey marketing and outreach campaign. So that was a long answer to that question, but I'm not aware of funding sources to get grants to become a partner. But again, I would hope that, you tap into maybe some communications or marketing or education dollars to sign on to that. The question is here, do we need to sign up as partners annually, or is it just a one-time thing? It is an annual membership. That is, yes, so you would have to sign up and renew that partnership annually to continue to get access. Let's see. Any other questions? Looks like there might be a question coming in. I'll give folks just a sec to see if there's another question. All right. Is your primary service to provide educational materials, or is there additional services? That's a great question. So that is the primary objective, is to provide those turnkey educational and outreach materials. But the other sort of service and benefit that you get from being a partner is the networking of getting connected to your local PlayCleanGo partners to see how you can work together, maybe to share resources. You know, maybe you've got a local nonprofit who can sponsor your forest as a partner. If funding is an issue, you know, that might be a way to get that funding. We have other services such as, like I said, the webinar series. So the webinar series is really targeted for partner organizations like what you all would be, to provide some more training and sort of a higher level, training and education about why the campaign works and sort of the new tools and strategies that are out there. So not just the actual educational materials, but sort of the background, the tools and strategies. Could we work with your designers to make stickers for kids, for example? Absolutely, that would be super fun. If you are not able to join as a partner, you could pay sort of as a fee for service for our designers' help to customize some stickers for you. We absolutely could do that. Yeah, so that would be fun. We could do that. And even if, whether you're a partner or not, we could look into working together to do things like that. All right, any last questions? Again, I'm so glad that you all were able to join today. If you think of a question after the webinar, again, please don't hesitate to reach out. We really are excited for the opportunity to work with the Forest Service. You all do great work. You cover so much territory. And like I said, you already really get the importance of the public-private partnerships and things like that. And so whether you decide to order a bunch of our Leave No Trace ethics cards, order some booth brushes, or just take some of our graphics and plug and play in your at your trailheads and your signage or other communications opportunities, I hope that you see an opportunity to take this really clear message and a growing message that's being used across North America, and help us amplify the message and have really, I mean, the goal is to have the most impact possible, to get every recreationist to clean their gear before they enter a recreational area and before they leave. So I think if I don't see any more questions, I think I'll wrap it up there. And thank you all again for joining today. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. So thanks again. Have a great rest of the day and week.